How's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we're going to be swapping out this wheel bearing on this 2008 Ford Explorer all-wheel drive. So first thing we need to do, if you're doing this, is come down here and we have to pop this cap off. And the reason why you need to pop this cap off is so that way we can actually see what size the axle nut is. This is huge because this is the biggest nut on the whole vehicle pretty much, and if you don't have this size, you don't want to get started. Usually you can do it with a hook pick or a flat blade. You just shove it in the side right here and you just do that. Oh. Now that we've got that off, as you can see, we can fit a socket to that. Once I know the size, I'll tell you. Alright, so the socket we're going to be dealing with is a 31 in this case. I have a whole axle nut set, so the first thing you want to do is get the longest breaker bar you have, and then we're going to try and get that axle nut loose. Also, before you take this off, it is best practice to replace the nut. Unfortunately, everywhere around me is back ordered and sold out, so I'm going to have to reuse it for right now. But in almost all cases, if you at all possible, call around, especially your local Ford dealer, and see about just ordering another axle nut. You have a very big impact like I do, it makes easy work of it after you shoot it with a little bit of penetration fluid. But like I said, all you do is you shoot it on the threads, give her a couple minutes. We've loosened that nut. I'm not too worried from this point. I want to leave it just a couple threads in for right now. Next thing to do is crack all of these loose, your lugs, because if you don't have an impact and you try to do that when it's in the air, you're just going to spin your tire. Oh, not that much. There we go. Now we can lift the vehicle and we'll be able to take that tire off. Here's your running board. There is your frame. Go ahead, jack it up on here, and then put your jack stand in underneath. Whatever you do, if you can, chuck the back wheels just to make sure that it does not roll away. We're a little off the ground. We're going to go a little higher, put it on that jack stand, and then you just want to make sure the tire is off the ground when it's on the jack stand. Go ahead and give her a couple more pumps. Doing good. Probably a little more. There we go. And then yeah, we'll see if that jack stand will fit underneath. Oh yeah, give her one or two clicks. Just make sure she's locked in. Perfect. And I just lower it onto there after. There we go, just like that. And we'll leave both there, so that way if one fails, the other one's here to catch it. Go ahead, take out all our lugs, remove the tie out of the way, so that way we can get at the brake assembly. Right here, just take this 8mm out, that way we know that our brake line is free. Now we're gonna grab a 17mm, which is gonna go on the back here. We're gonna take out these two 17s and move this off to the side. Like that, go ahead, watch that you don't hit anyone in the face, keep everything free, and then you just take those two bolts out once they are free like that. You can see both bolts are out. Go ahead and just wiggle that and it should slide right out. She'll fit a little tight because of the brake pads. Might have to get my pry bar. One thing you can always do just in case it's helping hold it, you can always pop the parking brake off, but we got it off. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, brake caliper is off to the side. I'm thinking we're probably at what, a 21? Yes. So 21, we're gonna break these two loose again. If yours has been sitting for a while and you haven't done your brakes in a while, well, this is a good time. This is gonna show you where your pads are at. If your pads are looking a little light, you should probably go pick up some pads or have someone spin down and grab you some pads. Anyways, from here, we're going to pop this bracket off, 21 here, 21 here, shoot it with a little bit of penetration fluid if you so wish. As you can see, we removed the brake pads, just put them off to the side. You don't have to remove the shims. You can leave those unless you're replacing the pads, then yes, use some shims. I've also got some anti-squeak stuff, which I'll show you before we put these back on, so that way I can show you how to put on that stuff so you don't get squeak once you're done. We've gotten down to the rotor. We need to break the rotor loose. What we might end up needing to do is use a rubber mallet and just give it some taps so that way it just frees itself a little bit on there. In this case, there is no screw on it. Always good to check for certain vehicles because some vehicles have a screw that hold that on and you can hit it all you want. Do not use anything metal to hit this because you will ding it up and then you will need a new rotor. There. And then all we do is slide that off and out of the way. What you can do too is you can see we lucked out, it didn't fall, but one of the worrisome things is always making sure that you don't accidentally give her a nice tap and it hits the ground. So how you can prevent that is just thread one lug on by 3 threads. Anyways, we lived and we didn't have to tell any bad stories. So from this point, let's remove the axle nut off the front. And we can do that with Big Betsy over there. Just like that. Now give me one sec. We're gonna have to access the back of this so that way we can pull out the 3 bolts that are threaded in from the rear. Now what I always suggest doing, just to give yourself a little bit of breather here, now that we have access, shoot penetration fluid on the back side of these bolts for when they thread out. So penetration fluid here and penetration fluid on the front. So the ones on the back side are a 15. Make sure you use a good ratchet and be careful. As you can see, they are fun. So just go ahead and pull out all 3 of those 15s on the back end. Next thing we got to do, go ahead. We're gonna have to release this all the way up because it's time to make sure that we disconnect this wire, which goes all the way under the hood. Now this looks like it's just a side clip. I'll have to release just the side of it and then we'll show you that in 1 second. And then under there, above the shock, just pull it. And then now we just pull and unplug it from under the hood. And there she is. She comes up right here. So we'll have to release it. There's one more tab right there. There. And right here, hard to show you, but it's a lift tab. All you got to do, or sorry, it's a press tab. You squeeze down on the little tab, wiggle, and she should come out. So squeeze, wiggle, and like I said, it's just got a little right there. Squeeze that down. Squeeze and pull out. New one comes with a new clip. Go ahead and just like that. Slips right out. Makes it easy. Now that we've got that free, we've got all 3 bolts out. Next thing to do is we're gonna have to hit it this way. So as you can see, we have a big opening here, so it makes it easy to kind of do that. Now, the best thing to do is that when you do that, we can also take off this dust shield, and then we'll have another swinging point right there and one at the bottom, possibly at the bottom, but we have one on each side. You want to hit it on both sides. Like I said, go ahead, take off the 4 or 5 bolts on that dust shield, take it out the way so that way we can hit it from different angles, because you want to continuously switch angles so that way it kind of moves forward as one. Just lots of that. Look at that. Look at that separation. You're doing good. It's easier to be the cameraman in this scenario, I tell you what. You got her. Keep going. There. And let's see how, trust me, wait till you get to do this. You'll get to be just as tired as Kevin. As you can hear probably from Kevin's breathing, it's a lot of work. And if you're wondering, Rich, why are you on the camera so much? I threw a couple swings in, not as much as Kevin here, nowhere near, but my back is literally toast right now. So I can't be hitting too hard, I know. There we go. Kevin gets to have a moment of success. It's out. And this is also why, for this part, you're definitely going to want some never sees, because that way, if this ever happens again, you have never sees on there. But yeah, anyways, we're going to wiggle this out, get the axle shaft out of the center, and get ready to put in the new one. Try and give that one a rotate. It like just like, it's not smooth, it's pretty there. Oh, there. So that tells you there's something going on. Is the new one, you can literally rotate this one with your hand just like that. Like, it's super smooth. You'll feel the difference. If you have some lightly abrasive sandpaper, nothing too crazy, go ahead and sand the inside bucket of that, so that way when we go to put this in, there's nothing like rust and whatnot build up over years that is going to impede it from sliding into the spot as you, of course, put it in. So on the back side here, we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize, just so that way it goes in there a little smoother, acts like a lubricant, and also makes it so the next time, if there is a next time, we can get this out a heck of a lot easier. So I suggest putting a little bit on around that whole ring that's going in, and then on those threads. Now, other thing for you, make sure your sensor is of course back in the same position, which is right on this side between the two ears. Just like that basically, and then a little bit on the inside. Just so that way when we slide it in, you could throw it on that side too. It's Tin Man. I try to put it at the least point of contact with your own clothing and skin, because you'll never get it off. If you want to do those 3 bolts to torque spec, go ahead, cinch them all up. What I like to do is this. You don't have to do a sequence on them, but you can. You can do 40, then 60, then 90. And if you do that, then it should help them all seat at the same rate. But again, you should finish off at 90 foot-pounds on those 3 bolts on the back that thread forward. Dust shield bolts. Go ahead and just put those in. Do not use anything big, like one of those big ratchets. Use a very tiny ratchet, cinch them up, and I don't suggest using any Loctite whatsoever, as those bolts, you want them to come out easy, because otherwise you'll snap them when you go to pull them out next time. So again, one hand tighten with a small ratchet. Right here, go ahead, tighten this one up. Again, do not get it anywhere near here, because your braking assembly goes here. Now this right here will go to right here. I think it goes something like this, just so you have a little bit for travel. And then it goes up to the next one, which this will come up and over to here, and then keep just sinking them in all the way up. So next thing we're gonna have to do is admire your brand new hub. Look how beautiful that looks compared to everything else. Go ahead and slap on your rotor. Boom. Next thing, we need our caliper bracket. That bracket we just put down right there. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna thread those in. Now again, this, we just have to put the rotor in between the center. So it goes, yeah, just like that, because they go to the, these go to the rear. Perfect. Here, yeah. Go ahead, hand thread both those in. Once both those bolts are in and they're hand threaded, we will tighten those up to 80 to 90 foot-pounds, and those should hold that perfectly fine. So again, 21, and we'll go ahead, we're going to cinch those up. After we cinch them up, we're going to put the caliper bolt to 80 to 90 foot-pounds. Got these to 90 foot-pounds. Now these sliders, if you want to, if you haven't done this in a while, you can actually pop these out, and you'd pop it forward, and you can pull these pins out, and you get something like this brake lubricant. And you go ahead, wipe them off, and wipe the brake lubricant all over them, and then these will move in smooth like this. Now just be careful not to damage the boot when you pop it out. Or actually, look at this, you can even pull it forward. Look at how dry those are. You know what we're going to end up doing? We're going to pull this back. We're going to lubricate those pins. So again, pull the boot back just like so, pull the pin forward, and then all you do is take this, which has another little brush in it, and brush some orange lube on there and slide it forward. Look at that. Now look at how easy it pushes forward on its own. Look at the one up top. See how it's not? Look at the one down below. So again, we're just packed it full of a little bit of orange, and now that'll give it better retraction and it'll move a little easier. Again, leave it up to you. If you hold the boot with your fingers, slide it out like that, you can see this one's got a little bit. We might add just a little bit more, but if yours is looking real dry when you do that, go ahead and add some orange. Move that in and out just to make sure she's nice and lubricated. Look at that. If yours is crunchy or anything, you're gonna really appreciate that. So now that we've gone ahead, we've made sure that it's slipped and sealed. Just make sure that these are still sealed. Now we can go ahead and get our caliper ready. So what you want to do is you can go ahead, when you have a dual pad like this or dual piston, we want to try to get it more central to the pad, just like that. And then all we do is we tighten it up. We're just gonna come on there we go. We just want to sink it in a little bit. And just like that, as you screw it in, it retracts the piston. I'm watching it from the side. I don't really need to show you. All you're doing is tightening this, and it's going to squish the piston in. What you can do is, after you do it a little bit, we don't need to do much because we're not doing a full brake change. If you are, then you'd need to do it on both. But since this is a bigger caliper, which is a good thing, I'm going to come over here, move it over here, and then huzzah. Now I've sunken in both pistons. There are other ways to do it, which is of course crack the bleeder on the side of your brake, and then you can let a little fluid out. I'm not going to bother with that. All right, now that we've done that, I'm going to put this caliper back safely away for a second. We're going to slip these pads on to slip the caliper back on. Up to you what you can do. Throw a little bit of lube in here on the sliders. Whatever you do, do not get it on the pad surface. Nothing on this pad surface. And throw a little bit right here if you really wanted to. You don't really need to on this surface. But like I said, just on the sliders, which are right here and right here. Right there. Just a little bit. You do not want a lot because you don't want it to get on your rotor because, well, lubrication will not stop you from braking. It will break your brakes. Just like that. And then bring it in. Just like that. Boom. Okay, that pad's in. Now we're going to go ahead, lubricate the sliders just like we did that one, and then slide the next pad in. Once we've slipped both pads in, again, it has to sit. You might have to squish this in a little bit with your finger as you bring it in because they fit really tight, which they should. Now that we've gotten these and we've got them cinched up, make sure you give them a nice squeeze, and then we can take our caliper, slide it on, and thread in those caliper bolts. Thread them in. Remember, always hand tighten, especially with brake parts. You don't want it to strip out. It's always fun to line these up. And yeah, once we go ahead and thread these in, I'll give you a Torx back. The bottom part, you might have to turn it as well, so that way it fits properly in the caliper. You'll see that there's a little notch. Make sure you turn the pin so it slides into that notch. And again, then you can hand thread them in, and we'll go from there. Once you get them both cinched down, switch to your torque wrench. 24 foot-pounds on those pins. They're a bigger bolt. And thread your lugs down, but unless you have an impact, you're not going to be able to tighten the torque spec until the wheel is on the ground. So just make sure you seat them so that way your wheel is sitting flat and then you're doing good. For your tire, I would go ahead and just do 90 foot-pounds. It's usually the good for the SUVs. Go ahead, do 90, and make sure you do your star pattern as though you're drawing a star on a piece of paper. So set your torque wrench for that axle nut to 184 foot-pounds. You could go as high as 200 if you'd like. Usually 200 is your safe number, but from what I've been seeing on some of the forums and stuff, it is 184 for this vehicle. Time for the most satisfying sound. Yep, that's it. Perfect. That's 184 right there. Again, go to 200 if you so wish. Last thing you want to do is lose that. Now you can go ahead, put your center cap in, and guess what, guys? You just changed a wheel bearing. And holy smokes, as you can see, the hardest part is just removing the old one because of the fact that it's going to be seized in there. But anyways, I hope that helped you out. Press like if it did, subscribe for more. Test ride went fine. Only thing to mention is make sure you pump your brakes 4 or 5 times just to make sure you get that fluid circulating back into that caliper. And last but not least, you'll get an ABS light probably, and if you do, don't worry about it. All you got to do is go for a quick drive and it'll go away.